Hey there, Tilray traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also from the best MJ community. Today is Wednesday, June 26th. Happy hump day, and I hope you're doing awesome. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Tilray brands chart. The daily oversold bounce is underway, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions on what to expect in terms of price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. But spoiler alert, $2 could be incoming USD as we could potentially be seeing a bullish reversal pattern forming on the chart similar to MSOS ETF. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only, and you should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. Also, full transparency, I do own Tilray in my portfolio. It's my largest MJ position. And just as a heads up, my daughter and her cousins are over visiting, so they're kind of making some noise in the background. They seem to have calmed down a little bit, so hopefully it's not too distracting. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And if you haven't seen my video that I just posted on Curaleaf's Boris Jordan, he talks about how we could see a massive wave of U.S. bankruptcies in the MJ space if some regulatory changes don't change on that in the U.S. on that front. So if you haven't seen that, I highly encourage you to check that out. There were some interesting comments coming out of Boris in that Q&A. So interesting times, and all of which he said I pretty much been saying on this channel now, not in his exact words, but I've been talking about a lot of those issues for multiple years now. Bringing up the Tilray chart. So if we take a look at the daily time frame here, I posted a video not too long ago saying that we had a target of about $1.55, and we have since come within just under 3.25%, so just over 3% away from hitting that target. So the low here was 161. It's actually a double bottom now, and we have a ton of support in that 160 area. After that, nothing until about 150, which is the all-time low. But you can see here the daily bear flag target was 155. You just take your high to the low, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and that gives you your measured move. And you can't even make this stuff up, right? And again, technical analysis isn't a guarantee. It's just all about probability, right? And this was very high probability that it was going to play out. We had the daily downtrend, bear flag. We were on our way to daily oversold the first time since October of 2023. So it had been a long time coming. And a lot of our other names in the space as well. So MSOS, right? Daily bear flag, hit its target as well, so that increased the odds. And I mentioned a few times that we should see daily oversold as a nice area to target for a bottom. And we just came off daily oversold, and we're starting the bounce. So now the daily oversold bounce is underway. We also had a daily EMA 12 and 26 bear cross during that bear flag confirming as well. So we had a ton of confluence saying that we were more than likely going to see more downside. And I'll go over the bullish thesis here in just a moment, but we also lost the 10-week moving average. We had a stochastic bear cross, which was an early clue and heads up. Then the MACD crossed bearish on the weekly time frame as well. So we had tons of confluence, tons of signals, patterns, indicators saying that we were going to see more downside. And we also rejected at the 100 weekly. Lots of names did that. Another name that comes to mind is OGI, hit its 100 weekly, then pulled back significantly, and now below all of its weekly moving averages. Same thing with Tilray. So we hit it. Strong resistance, upper wick, came back down, lost the 50 as support, confirmed it as resistance, and dropped to a lower low. So we need to get back above that. I think $2 is going to be a nice area to target. 205 there on the 50 weekly. We should come back and back test that, confirm it as resistance once again, more than likely, and then we could see an inverse head and shoulders and a potential right shoulder and an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross there on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame as well, we were gearing up for a golden cross with the 50-day below the 200-day moving average. A lot of names are just starting to see their death cross with the 50-day above the 200 coming down and crossing. So MSOS, an example. OGI, an example, very similar. But Tilray is actually a little bit further along. So we already had the death cross here, and then we had some downside. Now we're gearing up for a bullish cross, and there could be some news out of Tilray with regards to the U.S. market, right? We know that rescheduling is more than likely going to happen to Schedule 3 before the elections. And there's already been, SNDL with Sunstream. You got Organogram looking at the U.S. You've got Acreage and Canopy. So I think the next is going to be Tilray, and we'll see whether or not it's going to be a brand new acquisition. They just raised, they just announced that $250 million at the market equity program, right? So, and they mentioned in that press release that it was going to be used for international and the U.S. market. So, a lot of speculation that it could be MedMen assets. We'll see what happens, but it's interesting here that we could potentially see a golden cross over realistically the next couple of weeks on Tilray. So I'll be keeping an eye out for some news as well. And like I said, it could be, Germany's looking to fast track Pillar 2 as well. So we could potentially see them acquire, some sort of German asset. We know that there was some news out yesterday to post on that as well. Or it was Organogram and Sanity Group. So they invested in that German company. So again, the writing's on the wall there. We're already seeing it in other names into the US and more expansion into Germany. And I mentioned that in the Cureleaf video today as well about their global expansion. So I would highly encourage you to check out those videos, but this is looking good. I think Tilray could be one of the next companies to announce news with regards to more than likely going to be news soon on the US assets, and they're kind of expanding their footprint there, and we'll see what happens. But also not forgetting about Germany, because they are looking to fast track Pillar 2, and Tilray was number 1 in terms of market share, the last I heard. So that's what I'll be looking out for. But right now we do have a inverse head and shoulders that's forming. This could be our head that's forming here right now. So daily oversold bounce got underway today after breaking the high of yesterday. And now we could potentially come back up to neckline resistance, which would bring us up around $1.83. And we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well. It's quite a ways away before we see those cross. So what I would anticipate is while those tighten up, we come back to resistance, then we're still in a daily downtrend as well. So if we can come up to the neckline, get those exponential moving averages closer, then allow enough room for a daily higher low to form, give us our daily higher low, change the daily trend, confirm a daily uptrend, confirm an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross at that point, and confirm the inverse head and shoulders. And then the target, you just go from the head to the neckline and move it out, and it's saying here 205. So that lines up with our 50 weekly, not the 200. 200 is at 674. 100 is at 247, and the 50 at 205. So a lot of support, a lot of what would be now resistance, which was previous support, and we have the 200-day moving average there at 198. So I would expect us to come back and test that area over the coming weeks. And you have to keep in mind too, tomorrow is the presidential debate, so we could see some. I think crypto is probably going to be the most talked about, but who knows? Could be wrong. I think MJ could be right there as well, but I expect crypto will take most of the spotlight, and then other issues non-related to crypto and MJ. But I think MJ will more than likely get brought up. It has to, in my opinion, because like I said, a lot of these people in power that are currently in power were put there because of their pro MJ stance. So I think people are going to be very curious about that, and rightly so. We need answers on that. Like the American people need to know. It's a huge issue, right? A lot of people are single issue voters, and a lot of people are focusing on crypto, but there's a ton of MJ advocates as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes tomorrow. I'll be getting the popcorn ready for that one. That is for sure. But let me know what you think of this in the comment section below. There's also other names that are forming IHSs. MSOS, you can see it has this right shoulder or left shoulder head now potentially topping out, could be forming a right shoulder. We did start daily consolidation, so let's see if we continue consolidating and get that right shoulder where we could see us pull down to around 730 into the low 730s while we look for that higher low and right shoulder to form. So that's what I'll be looking for. And again, if you're only looking at Tilray, you're not getting the bigger picture, right? And we had daily bear flags, downtrends, EMA 12 and 26 bear crosses, daily oversold on MSOS. That increase the odds that names that hadn't already done so would likely be next to do so, right? So this is looking good. We could potentially start to reverse, in my opinion, over the coming weeks. And then, like I said, for a while now into July, end of the comment period for rescheduling ends July 22nd. I think, end of July or sometime in August is where we're really going to start to ramp up. And then Florida on the ballot as well, adult use. Germany looking to fast track. There's even talks now that Canada is looking at potentially changing excise taxes. So that, there was a lot of hopes for that in the federal budget, but didn't actually come to fruition. But it hasn't been forgotten about. So we'll see what happens. Anything's possible at this point. We need to be ready for a surprise. But with rescheduling imminent, 280E removal, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that excise taxes will get improved, right? We'll see the amount of excise taxes lowered around the same time that 280E goes away. So, and I think there's a good chance that it gets rescheduled before the election, but most likely going to see 280E go away at some point, by at the latest, I would think at some point in, midpoint of 2025. And we could see MJ banking as well toward a lame duck session. So we have to keep that in mind. And then uplisting, we know that Boris Jordan has talked about uplisting to a U.S. major exchange. But going into there, it's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.